This is the iPhone 13 Pro, and it's basically the same device as the iPhone 13 Pro Max, just a bit smaller. The more compact size can be appealing, but that does mean that the screen and battery aren't so big. I'm Will for GSM Arena, and we'll get into those and the iPhone 13 Pro's other features in our full review. Apple has taken a different approach this year regarding its iPhone Pro models. Where the iPhone 12 Pro and Pro Max had different cameras, this year you don't have that to worry about. It's all about the size. The 13 Pro is built around a 6.1-inch screen rather than a 6.7-inch one. It's heavier than the iPhone 13, but still a lot easier to wield one-handed than the Pro Max. Just like the Pro Max though, the build is nothing short of premium. There's a stainless steel frame and Corning glass back, and it's all IP68 rated against dust and water up to 6 meters in depth. And this generation of iPhones also brings a new feature, a smaller notch cutout for the selfie cam and Face ID tag. The display of the iPhone 13 Pro is a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED. It's quite sharp at 460 ppi and features a fast 120Hz refresh rate. We've seen high refresh rates for a while on Android phones, smoothing out swiping and scrolling, and now the feature has made its way to the high-end iPhones. Apple calls it ProMotion, and it's adaptive based on how you're using the screen to save energy, all the way down to 10 Hz. This display is great. Content is vibrant and crisp, and contrasty thanks to the OLED technology. Colors are especially accurate here, and there's HDR10 and Dolby Vision support too. And max brightness is about the same as the Pro Max's, and it's impressive. We measured up to 850 nits with the manual slider, and this boosts up to around 1060 nits in auto mode when in bright sun. The iPhone 13 Pro's battery is a lot smaller than the Pro Max's. The difference is over 1200 mAh, and as you'd expect, the battery life is not as stellar. We praised the iPhone Pro Max for having the best battery life ever for an iPhone, but the regular Pro is more middle of the road. It scored an 85-hour endurance rating in our tests, which is still an improvement over last year. New iPhones don't come with a charger, but if you use Apple's 20-watt adapter, the 13 Pro's charging speed is faster than the Pro Max. We were able to charge from 0 to 60% in half an hour. One other feature we noticed a slight difference in is the speaker quality. All of the iPhones come with stereo speakers, and the 13 Pro scored very good on our loudness charts, in line with the other models. But we noticed that the low end isn't quite as impressive as on the Pro Max. The quality is still great though. Alright, we've pretty much covered what's different between the two iPhone 13 Pro models. Now let's see what else they have in common. All of the new iPhones run on Apple's newest silicon, this year's Apple's A15 Bionic chipset. But the Pro models get an extra performance boost when it comes to graphics, as they have a 5-core GPU rather than 4. Performance is considerably better than last year, with the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max topping the charts both CPU and GPU-wise. Although the thermal management doesn't match that of a dedicated gaming phone, the latest games run smooth as butter. And for peak performance, the iPhone 13 Pros set a bar that probably won't be surpassed until next year's iPhones come out. Another thing that's shared across the new iPhones is the user interface. It's Apple's iOS 15 and is quite similar to the previous version, but with a few tweaks here and there. For example, FaceTime, the Safari browser, and Apple Wallet have all been improved. And one new feature is focus profiles. These are customizable filters for notifications and calls, which you can swap between depending on your needs. The iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max have the same cameras, and they've all seen an upgrade over last year. The 12-megapixel main cam features a new sensor with larger pixels, as well as sensor shift stabilization. Then the 12-megapixel telephoto cam has a higher 3x zoom, and the 12-megapixel ultra-wide now has autofocus. Since the camera quality is the same as the Pro Max, we'll go over it just briefly here. You can get a more in-depth picture by checking out our iPhone 13 Pro Max review. During the day, the 13 Pro's photos are very good, with plenty of detail, and natural-looking colors and dynamic range. 3x zoomed photos from the telephoto are also high in quality, maintaining the overall colors and vibe of the main camera. The ultra-wide cam also maintains similar colors and dynamic range to the other two cameras. These photos are a bit softer though. The ultra-wide has autofocus, so you can shoot extreme close-ups with it. These can come out quite nice if you're willing to make the effort. In low-light situations, the default setting for the main camera is Auto Night Mode. These images are great, with nice detail, and highlights and shadows look more true to life than on some competitors. There's also Auto Night Mode on the telephoto cam, and overall, images are decent. That is, as long as the scene isn't too dark. Then the iPhone would switch to a cropped zoom from the main camera. Auto Night Mode photos from the ultra-wide cam are good for this sort of camera at night. Again, Apple goes for a more contrasty look here, but in this case we feel the shadows are a bit too dark. Selfies come from the 12-megapixel front-facing camera, and they are quite good, with plenty of detail, likable skin tones, and well-done exposure. The iPhone 13 Pro can shoot video in up to 4K resolution at 60 FPS with all of its cameras. Footage from the main cam is great, with very good detail and dynamic range, and lively colors. The same can be said of the footage from the telephoto camera. The ultra-wide cam also puts out a strong performance. The colors, exposure, and dynamic range are dialed in the same as the other two cameras. All of the cameras also feature always-on electronic stabilization, and it does a great job in smoothing things out. And finally, there's Cinematic Mode. It can blur the background behind your subjects dynamically, and even switch the focus, simulating rack focus. However, while it probably works better than any similar implementation out there, the edge detection just comes out unnatural looking a lot of the time, so we don't think many people will use it. So there you have it guys, the iPhone 13 Pro. You get the same compact size as the regular iPhone 13, just a little heavier, and you also get all of the premium features of the iPhone 13 Pro Max. If you don't mind a smaller screen, the only real downside here compared to the Pro Max is that you don't get that great battery life. But in general, if you're looking for a more pocket-friendly device, that's a fair trade-off. It's nice that Apple has given us a choice about the size of our iPhones without making anyone feel like they're missing out. And both the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max are equally worth recommending. Thanks for watching guys, stay safe and see you on the next one.